Yes, nice. I think that even if the score is totally uneven, the match actually was in a tactic way more elaborated than it can look.
Yes, I completely agree. Completely. It looked like Max, in the beginning, I don't think he was doing a good job with tactics. But in the second part of the bout, I think he was doing a much better job. It's just a little bit of sloppy execution. And again, some good tactics on Matyas's part, not to take anything away from him. So it'll be interesting to see. If I were Max, I would start the bout differently than he did last time, like you said, with a slightly later preparation and maybe not quite as deep in the box. And then you just have to make sure that your execution is better than it was in the first part.
Yes, exactly. Totally agree. I think also that fencing the same guy twice in a day can be really challenging.
Yeah, we don't do it much.
Especially for the guy who won, since I think that the guy who won has the upper hand. You can think that he has the upper hand since he already fought and already won, but he maybe can be too confident on his actions that he already done. So the loser one can just adapt, understand, maybe talking with his coach or just rethinking about the match and elaborate a different strategy that can put actually on the first half him on top and then have the upper hand.
I think that is especially true if somebody wins a bout really easily, because that bout was 15-5 and it may create a mindset like, I should win this next one. And that's not a good thing to think going into a bout. You just need to focus on your tactics and building the bout like normal. So.
Yes.
So let's just see the preparation there.
Exactly. It started just as it ended. Great tactics from Hartung, but with a little errors on execution.
Yeah, so this time I think Max actually does start his preparation and makes it a little bit later. The execution of this action is better, although he missed. And then this is a hard situation to be in Sabre these days, where you're having a long attack made against you.
Yes, it's really hard since the new timing. The new change, it means it's really hard to defend.
Yeah, it is. Yes. But again, he's making his preparations a little bit later, and you see Matyas actually commits first here.
Yes. Well, Hartung here does a great job standing still for a moment and actually prepared this trap while standing still and pulling back just at the right moment. So here he stops completely. Szabo pulls his attack and then parry riposte.
Matyas likes to do that too. If you show him something threatening like that, he'll often do an attack in preparation. So not that time though.
I think this time Szabo gets the right mindset to actually oppose the Hartung strategy, since starting the preparation with no intention of going direct is the perfect thing to do in this situation, since if you go direct, you can either get parry riposte, you get pullback, and then the other has the attack, or maybe you can just get an attack of preparation if you full commit your attack. So I think that starting Szabo gets in the exact moment that he gets the point against, actually used the perfect counter in this situation, I think. Then it was also Hartung did well in not conceding the attack to Szabo.
Yes. Most of those times in the last bout, he just went backwards, but this time he didn't. That was nice. So we saw a very similar action to this in the last bout. The long attack that Max landed, he actually parried a counterattack right here, but this time he doesn't.
Yes, as the first long attack that he did in the other bout, he just fully commits his attack when he saw Szabo going back.
Mm-hmm.
If maybe I got a little bit calmer on its attack, he could and be composed with his hand, because the real problem here was his hand was going anywhere.
Yeah, and like you said last time as well, here he's just like a little too aggressive right now. Like if you want to chase someone like that, you should do it from a little bit farther away, because you can get hit by stuff like this if you're that close.
Especially in these high level matches, you can't actually attack this with this ferocious attack.
This craziness. I think Matyas got a little lucky on that one. This is kind of like the eyes closed attack that Max is doing, and Matyas is hopping, and I think Matyas was a little bit late on that one. But so even though
I think that the real difference, obviously, that Hartung is, I think he's a little bit more committed on his attack than Szabo, but the difference, I think, is too little. We saw in the other match that the difference was enormous. Like Hartung getting the attack and Szabo just hoping that there was a max error and going for attack preparation.
Yeah, but even though he didn't score a touch on this one, I think it's still something that needs to be considered. Like that preparation is a little bit dangerous to use in that situation.
Yes.
I do like that Max is going backwards a lot less early than he was in the last bout.
I think that is the perfect counter to the other match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's not committing his defense without any reason, but he's thinking his defense. So he gets the preparation, he watches for a moment, and then gets the action. I think that in this match, he actually overdo his direct attack.
I agree. I think at this point, he needs to maybe do it with a feint cut or something, because each time that he's done this kind of action, it's been straight.
Yes. He can also start with this kind of rhythm and then changing the line, since he, with his direct attack, is actually, it seems like he's closing his eyes and just launching himself into the... But he's always going on the fourth side, on the fourth.
Yeah.
So he can just move under the guard, or maybe going in with a feint and getting Szabo.
That's a good point. It doesn't even need to be a feint. It can just be a different target area.
Exactly. This is different. So he started slowly and then he accelerated.
Yep.
That is how he gets the right of way.
I stopped it a little too early. Yep, see the pause there? That was good. Again, yes. I think this is a good action, but he's so deep in the box that it's hard to make a pull here.
Yes, he went halfway through the piece.
Yeah.
He was exactly in the middle. Or you have a lightning fast arm that you can parry, or you're screwed.
Yeah, I think you can still get it, but I think your chances decrease. Like, you put yourself in a bad position, because he really is 7/8 of the way into the box now. Even if he was just like here instead, I think the effect would be very similar, but he'd give himself a couple more inches and a lot more time to get this parry.
Yes, because actually when we fence, we actually perceive the distance, but with a little centimeter difference, it's really impossible to feel.
Yeah.
So maybe you can feel it really, really close, but pulling out the distance with 5 centimeter more is 10 times easier.
Yeah, exactly. Especially at that high speed, it's really hard to detect those very tiny changes in distance. That was a good mix-up too, because he he decided he wasn't going to just do the blind straight attack. This one was a little bit longer.
Yes, but I think that we show the replay. I think that in this time he likes noticed too late that he was overcommitting. So you see that how long the passes were. With one pass, he always got to midway to the piece.
Yep.
And also, if Szabo was a little bit more composed on his defense, I think he could get an easy parry, since it seems like Hartung is just
always finishing the 4.
Yes.
Yeah, he looked like he wanted this to be attack no instead of actually defending against it.
I think the referee gives attack no riposte, since the foot lands so late.
Yep.
With respect to Yao.
Yep, he did.
So early.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Yes, both of the fencers tried very little to parry in the middle, since in either way there was always one fencer that goes for a slow preparation, looking for what the other does.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they just tried the parry in the times to break the rhythm, to try to have something that is completely off the normal match.
Yeah, a mix-up. All right, so let's look at the difference between those two. So this one, Max is being very aggressive and Matyas is staying back and kind of parries at the last second. This one starts off very similar, but Matyas does it backwards instead of forwards.
Yes, that's actually the key, since I think that before Szabo wasn't ready actually to perform a parry.
I agree.
So,
I think it looked like he was caught in a bad position and just tried to make the best of it.
Yes, he picked a number and decided where to go. And that's a nice parry.
Yes, it is.
So that goes for every time that Hartung goes direct.
Attack from left.
And that was something new actually that Szabo introduced, since it was like I don't know the result, but it was like early in the match that Szabo tried these direct attacks. And I think it was the right decision in this moment to change, since it was like 5 or 6 touches that it decided to go in the second intention and try to go or for a parry or for getting the attack after the preparation.
Yeah, so Max might have been thinking now's a good time to try a long attack because he's been doing so many parries. And so just one step ahead of that. And you can see he's totally not ready for this. He's watching him. And he does the pause that you're talking about, but it's kind of like the wrong tactical mindset. Well, it's the right one, but Matyas is a step ahead.
He was like ready after the pause, I'm gonna full send it, but he was caught just by the blade of Szabo.
So this bout is very different from the other bout, even though the score is very similar.
Yes, it started like it ended. So you can see similarities in the last part of the first bout and this bout.
Yes.
I think. So actually Hartung found the answer to this match in the last part of the other bout. And now he's applying them. Obviously going for as in the first bout with some like sloppy parries that gives him a remise, or as you said before, a long preparation that get him caught up in the middle.
It's a long break. Oh, that's cool. Come on, FIE, step it up. That was nice. A little bit. We kind of missed it a little bit in the beginning, but let's see if we can get that again. So again, kind of an aggressive preparation from Max, but... Oh, and Szabo just barely misses the blade when he tries to take it there.
Yes, it goes. I think that Szabo understood that he was gonna lose the right of way and tried desperately to look for the blade. So you notice that how his body is just fully prepared to commit to defense. So it was too late to commit an attack. So he goes for the blade.
Yeah. And this situation is dangerous for Max because he got picked here before. And look how close the blade is to his wrist right now.
Yes. But he starts in this moment, he slows his momentum and regains the right equilibrium to perform a long attack.
Yes, this is much better distance right now. And that's even better.
We can see at the beginning how Szabo actually... I don't know. It looked like he planted his front foot so hard that whole his body weight was moved on the front, and he couldn't perform an attack. Because we can say that both fencers finished the preparation at the same time, and we could have had a simultaneous action in this case. But going with the full...
I see what you mean about the front foot.
Yes, it's like stomps his front foot.
He puts his foot down really hard right there.
And in this moment, both fencers are in the same status. But then, going this hard on his front foot made him losing control of his body and losing the right of way.
And you can see here Max is much more unbalanced to go forward.
Yes, he's fully centered.
That was good. And I do like the changes he made here. He made a couple of distance changes when he felt like he wasn't in a good distance to either be threatened by the counterattack or not to be able to hit him. And here, he just realizes he's close enough that if he goes forward and hard, there's not a lot of option for Matyas.
Yes. I think also that he was also really just in time to finish his attack.
Yes, barely.
We don't the green light, but I think it was just in time.
Yeah. One of the things I think would be cool in these streams is, and I don't know exactly how they would do this, but I think it would be interesting to see how much time there was before you got closed out. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes. Yes, I get it.
So, like, was he 0.03 of a millisecond away from being closed out, or was it like a little bit farther than that? It'd be interesting to know that.
It would be really cool, but I think that it would be really hard to incorporate that technology inside the machine.
Yeah, maybe.
One day.
Yeah, we actually, in the US, we have a type of machine that does that.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, so I know it's possible, although you don't see those machines very often. Let's see the distance on that one. He's still farther than I want, but at least he's going backwards better.
Yes. In the other action, he just went back with his body. So the front leg was completely planted on the front. Now he gets actually back with his front leg.
Yeah, the balance is much better.
Perfectly, and it doesn't go. It doesn't lean back. He's just centered with his body and managed to get also a riposte. Because maybe I think that sometimes if you lean back with the body, also your arm goes back, and probably you get the parry and you get the remise because you are farther away from the target.
Or you miss because you're farther away from the target. And we saw that a couple times in the last bout, especially, like he would do this action and then just miss him.
Exactly.
Ooh!
I don't know if there is counter parry.
I'm not sure either, but I really like the beginning of this one. again, the pause that you're talking about, it looks like it's going to be a really hard attack, and Matyas is ready to parry right now. But Max kind of waits a beat and catches Matyas in a really bad position.
Ooh, I think that is...
He missed.
Yes, he missed this riposte.
That was a really good adjustment from Max, even though his first attack, even though somehow Matyas got the parry in the way there, that was still a really good adjustment. And there was the small pause again. Wow.
Nice parry. I think that here it goes a little bit, his pose is not
big enough?
A proper pose. It just like finishes preparation and then launch directly. Because there hasn't been an occasion in which Hartung actually manages to create an action when he does a proper pose.
And I would just like to compliment Matyas here on how long he waits. Because, like, he waits even longer before he actually makes his pull.
And it goes, it looks like perfect.
Yeah.
I think that the problem is that always or fully committed on the front with his body weight or on the back. Because if he could get a nice clean step back, I think that it could be an instantaneous riposte.
Yeah.
So attack riposte. Just like Curatoli does.
Yeah, but he's not...
Go 10 meter perfect, goes pull back with a small step, and then with a little hop, a little step, it concludes.
Yeah, and right now you can see that Matyas is not in a good position. His leg is like his back leg is almost fully extended. He's not in a good position to make an attack here. So he has to take like an extra step to recover himself, and at that point, the distance is too big. Max is already backing off, so... And that was amazing. Not particularly repeatable, but it was very nice. And I think part of that could be that, like, at this point, Matyas has lost 3 touches in a row. And so maybe he's feeling a little more pressure now. Like, I have to land this attack, and that's not a good thing to think either.
Yeah, I think that they are 4-0 after the pause. I think that's a really great... It gets tons of pressure on you.
Yep.
When you start off after the pause and the opponents just gets you every time.
Yeah, it feels like, even though the score is 7 for Max and 8 for Matyas, it feels like Max is completely in control, and it almost feels like he's got more points than Matyas does right now.
Yes.
That was nice. Again, I wish we could see that from a more conventional angle, but let's see about the preparation again. So he's ready, like super ready this time for the attack and prep.
Yes, I think that he gives himself 2 options. So we can see that with his foot, he was anyway committing on going forward. We can see the front foot that goes beyond Szabo. Doesn't stop.
Yep.
So it was just like he was ready for a lunge to finish his direct attack. But he was also in a more balance. He did not close his eyes and did the action. So he was ready since we had, I think, 2 or 3 actions in which there was a simultaneous attack in which Szabo went just straight with his blade. So it was an easy predict from Hartung.
Yes. And that was a really good adjustment to that, because now he's actually doing a little bit of preparation on his preparation. Like he looks like he's going above, but he changes lines.
Yes, I think this time Hartung wasn't so ready for a parry. I think that committing twice the same parry is really difficult.
It's very risky, yeah.
The nicest trap you can ever think to commit the same parry twice.
Yeah, that could have just been like a test for Matyas, like, how much are you really thinking about this? Or are you just reacting to me?
Yes, that's actually Szabo perfectly adapting to the new situation, starting really less direct and thinking more about the action.
That was nice too.
Yes. They do both a similar preparation, but as we said before, Hartung is committing his preparation with more distance, while
Yeah.
Szabo is keeping him more closer to the 4 meter line. And obviously the result is simply simultaneous attack. I don't think there is much of a difference to give one another a point.
I actually thought that was Max's because Matyas is watching with the hand. But we'll see.
There is, but I think there is not that much of. Did not get him so early to give an attack on preparation. I think if we also see the lights, they were almost instantaneous, both.
I think you're right. Oh no, they changed it.
Oh, they gave the point?
Yeah. That was interesting.
That was actually the same kind of attack where he first got parried and then got the right of afterwards.
Exactly.
He starts pose and he just like hangs his foot in the air to watch where Szabo is going to parry. Because here Szabo commits directly a parry on the first movement while Hartung is still in the air.
Yep. So the score now from after the break is 7 for Max, 1 for Matyas.
Pretty harsh.
Pretty harsh. So I like that too because Matyas has not done a long attack like that. Normally at this point he commits to like a short attack in preparation. But this time he takes an extra step and you can see Max is just completely caught off guard by that.
Yes, Max was ready to get a pullback as he did during all the match. But he got actually Szabo with a really nice attack.
Mm-hmm. And that's a brave thing to do when you're down 7-1, right?
Yes, most people might maybe tend to watch even more to actually fully be sure of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they just do the action that they feel 100% sure.
And I think the key. Go ahead. You say first. Go ahead.
I think that this was a great moment to interrupt the momentum of the match, since when you get over the 10 points, it starts to get really hard also to look at the score.
Yeah.
When you start looking at maybe 12-9, 13-9, it's just maybe 3 points, but you're feeling the pressure going really up.
Yes. And I was going to say, what I like about this a lot is that Matyas doesn't start by like sprinting at him. He knows he wants to do a long attack here, but he starts the preparation in a very similar way. But instead of hopping here, he takes an extra step. So Max is still reacting to this the same way he was before. But Matyas does something different after the first step. And the first step is so important because it tricks Max into thinking the situation is about to be the same. But it's not. So really good composure from him to be able to do something like that at this point in the bout.
Both committed a full send direct attack.
Yes, this one I think is simultaneous.
Yes. I think that Szabo is not really happy with the referee in this bout. He asked for tons of video. I don't know what the rule is in this tournament because I think he got 3 or 4 video without actually winning any of those.
That was a great pull. Wow, I love that touch. because the preparation from Max is a little bit different. I think just to kind of see what Matyas does. And also, look at, he's not here now. He's back here.
In fact, with those 10 centimeters more, it would be just right in the face, getting the blade. But it gets nice pull.
Yeah.
And nice balance to start the attack then.
But another thing I like is because this is a little dangerous still because he's kind of close. So Max takes another step back before he starts.
Yes. Really nice attack.
Yeah, that was good. Matyas taking a second to compose himself. I like that. Looks like attack to me.
I think that I would give attack touche.
Me too. These days, even though his foot is first, they're kind of leaning towards if you make your foot go down, but you're still doing one cut, they're still going to give attack. Like if he did feint cut after his foot went down, I think it would be attack no, but he didn't. So
it's just a one motion with no hesitation.
Yeah. I also want to point out, I really love the angle of his finish. Like, I say this sometimes, look at the angle from the blade all the way back down to his leg. It's perfectly straight. That's like the maximum amount of distance you can get on a lunge.
Exactly. In fact, he gets perfect contact with him, just not like picking with the tip of the blade while it full cut through his body.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like attack to me. We'll see what they decide. They gave it to him and we missed the touch. No idea.
I think that was simultaneous. I don't know.
Or maybe we'll see it in a second. Yes, we're going to see it now.
We are blessed with the video.
Ah, okay. So I think that's attack no from left.
Yes.
So Matyas starts first with his feet, which is the trend these days. Like, at this point, it's your attack. But he does something else weird here.
In this moment, is attack no.
Yes, exactly. If he didn't do that, it would be attack from left. But maybe he wasn't comfortable with Max going backwards or something. I don't know. But he did something extra, and that's attack no for me.
He felt that Hartung was going back, so he was going to readjust his balance. But then Hartung got the right moment to get it right away.
Mm-hmm. That's a tricky one.
I think maybe they show the replay in slow motion. It looked like Szabo has the right away with his legs,
Yes.
but it gets a weird motion with his hand to get the contact. So I think they gave simultaneous. No, attack left.
They give it left, yeah. That was a weird one. But that's fencing. That happens sometimes.
This is actually what we said before. He attacked directly,
But not
now
before.
So he goes from back.
Oh, he missed.
That's the remise.
Ooh.
Right.
At 12-12, that's crazy.
That's so frustrating that would be so frustrating for Szabo.
Wow,
And there goes another direct attack with a change of line.
Yeah.
You see that Szabo is overcommitting the same parry over and over.
Yeah. That was like a point disengage, too. I like that. That was cute. Attack touche.
Oh, he tried to fool the referee.
Because like we said before, the foot is down first, but it's one cut afterwards. And again, look at that angle. It's hard to see the blade, but that's a pretty straight angle.
There's actually a tricky touch for the ref, because you are in a really difficult moment.
Yes.
Because Szabo is actually on. It can get a comeback.
Right.
But if you get this wrong, the match is over.
Yes, exactly. They did give it to Matyas, which is good because that's what they called before.
And that is actually, as we said before, and for the first bout, getting a slow preparation in and looking at Szabo was the key for Hartung to win this match.
In the past, these actions, like the last few times this has happened, Matyas mixes and then goes backwards. But I think here, he was either like nervous or he slipped or something, because he stays in and tries to get a remise.
Yes, I think that he was in a rush. He was just rushing for his comeback.
Yeah, could be. It's a hard position to be in.
But that was a nice comeback from A3 to 15-13. It's actually a great comeback.
Yeah. Really good tactical changes and good execution as well. So, yeah. There we go. Yeah, so anything else you want to say about the bout before we split?
I think that the last touches were actually explanatory about all the key for both fencers to actually come out as winner of the bout.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw how actually Szabo, when he got the point, it were in the moment in which he didn't rush his attack on preparation, and he decided to commit a long attack while always looking at the attack on preparation of Hartung. And he did a great job on pairing the direct attack, since Hartung in the first part wasn't really caring about him pulling back.
Mm-hmm.
So when he saw Hartung fully committing, it just, I don't care, I'm gonna go 2 step backs, parry riposte, with no other distraction or anything else. He was 100% confident about that action.
Yeah.
And then slowing down his momentum was actually the key for Hartung, since when he slowed down his momentum, he managed to get the right of way on when he finished the preparation, and also he managed to change the line, since even if he started directly, we saw in the first part where he just on the alley, he just pointed his arm straight and committed the attack.
Mm-hmm.
While on the other moment, he just kept his arm in position and finished on the right spot. I think that was a really nice correction to his attack.
I do too.
Since if you just commit with your point, with your blade straight, it's easy to parry.
Yes, it is. I also think that, elaborating a little more on what you said, it's so important to change the timing just a little bit, because in this sport, so much of it is about having your moves at the exact right time. And so for a while, Matyas was really in a good rhythm where he was making his fakes and it was really affecting Max. But then just by adding like that little pause, those fakes were suddenly out of time. And Max could either add the pause or not. And so it's another thing that Matyas has to think about with the timing of his actions. So
yes, in fact, also I think that also the first part of the match, the result of the first part of the match is not actually telling the whole story
I agree.
about the match. Because, yes, it is 8-3 for Szabo, but we have tons of errors from Hartung. So it was like 3 parry post that went in remise,
Yeah.
and some attacks with error of his arm that led to counter attack.
Yep.
So the bout could have ended on in this case 15-4 for
Hartung.
Hartung if you just see it in the tactical part. Obviously, fencing is not just that.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting how those changes can be made, and it's really cool to see the same people fence each other again just like 2 hours later. Because when you lose to someone at a World Cup, you have to think about it for like weeks, and then you get your chance maybe in a couple of weeks. But he got his chance an hour and a half later, so that was really interesting.
In some way, I think it's easier to elaborate a counter strategy, since you know you're gonna fight him, so you're preparing yourself directly. But in a World Cup, you will never know who you're gonna focus. So obviously, in this case, we would actually expect a final of this with these two fencers.
Yep.
So maybe Hartung was already looking forward to this match, I think.
Yeah.
While in the World Cup, already from the top 16, 64 is it's really hard.
Yeah.
To
And I mean, also when you lose 15-5, it's just like, all right, come on, let's just do that again because I want to beat you this time. So
yeah, you're going with all your anger from the other bouts.
Exactly. All right. Thank you, Luca. This was very interesting.